And this is kind of where you see the biggest impact to a team because of injury. Now, riddled throughout this entire episode, riddled throughout my entire teams, all rookie team, all defensive team, injuries affected, whether some blatantly or some, you may not think about. Again, I feel if the roster that the Grizzlies thought they were going to get day one, that roster probably would not have allowed G.G. Jackson to be on my all-rookie team. I don't know if he would have been able to get as much playing time. I definitely don't think if he was going to get that much playing time, he wouldn't get as many shots as he puts up. I just think injuries played a huge part of G.G. Jackson getting on my team. Defensive team, Alex Caruso. I think Alex Caruso is he's always been a really good defensive player, and I think that he probably still would have been an all defensive team, but I don't think the focus would have been on Alex Caruso because I don't know if he would have got the same amount of defensive assignments because of Zach LaVine. I'm not saying Zach LaVine is the same defender. Like I would never disrespect Alex Caruso like that, but I just think that Alex Caruso wouldn't be as needed because that would be in a crowded backcourt, because I know that they're trying to do the whole DeMar DeRozan playing small forward, power forward, but don't get me started on that. But like I said, I think that these all NBA teams are definitely especially the all NBA teams is definitely a product of injuries. And as unfortunate as it is, and as all of these players are definitely deserving of being on the team, it just sucks, But this is my all NBA third team. I will also say this before I give my third team, before I give all my teams. Not only was this difficult due to injury, but this was probably one of the first years that it was extremely difficult to make these teams because it felt like you were snubbing one player or snubbing the criteria. It was very hard sticking to a criteria. I'll just say that it was very hard sticking to a criteria because I can make cases for all 15 of these players being on the first team, So, yeah. But here's my third team. You have Tyrese Maxey, Tyrese Halliburton, Jaylen Brown, LeBron James, and Victor Wembanyama. Tyrese Maxey, especially stepping up for the 76ers with Joel Embiid being out a lot of the year, dropping a couple of fit Tyrese Maxey probably, I think, has earned himself a Most Improved Player award, and he has been one of the best guards, especially in the East. He's been one of the best guards. That's inarguable, especially when you look at the stats and you look at everything that he's done, as well as Tyrese Halliburton. The reason why I have Tyrese Halliburton on the second team is because there was a steep drop-off from how he played in the beginning of the year to how he played at the end of the regular season. Now, I will attest that I believe he's not 100% healthy. He hasn't been since, he got hurt, but I do think that there were some incentives of him playing. Obviously, we don't need to get into that, but I think that Tyrese Halliburton is playing through injury, and even with him playing through injury, he's still a very good player, and he still had had the best year of his career, and that's why I have him on the third team. I just think if his play was able to stay as consistent as it was in the beginning of the year, he probably would have been in my second team. But Jaylen Brown, he's the second most important player and the second best player on a team that is record-wise the best team in basketball, and that is the Boston Celtics. I've said this I've said this multiple years now, but I think this is the biggest team. Well, let me. This is probably the team. Like this year is the year that I mean it the most, and that is if this Boston Celtics team that has the best record in the NBA, that has the deepest team, that has the best starting five, that has arguably two players that I think are going to make the All NBA team, that has a champion on the team, or if they do not win a championship this year, it's never going to happen, like ever. But that also is a testament to how good this team is and how good Jaylen Brown has been. So I have Jaylen Brown All NBA third team. I know people are probably going to hear it and say Braun on third team is a snub. I think LeBron James has been incredible this year. I think LeBron James is continuously holding off Father Time to an extent. I think that he's obviously getting older, and he obviously can't do what he did when he was in Cleveland, when he was in Miami. But LeBron James has still been great, and LeBron James is the main reason why the Lakers find themselves in the playoffs. Like, he's the main. I do think that Anthony Davis is also a big part, and the play of D'Angelo Russell. No, a lot of people don't talk about him, or when they do talk about him, he's like the butt of the joke. But D'Angelo Russell has been really good, so shouts out to him. But yeah, I have LeBron James third team. I just think that there have been players at the forward position that have been better and more vital for their team's success. So yeah, I have Braun, and then Victor Wembanyama. Again, you can argue. I know he's been on every single team, rookie team, defense team, and now All NBA for me. You can argue that he's a top 10 player in the league, and you can't really argue that for any other rookie. Chet has been great. Chet has been incredible, but I just think Victor is just better. And I think it's going to reflect that, especially when we talk about Rookie of the Year. So again, my third team is Tyrese Maxey, Tyrese Halliburton, Jaylen Brown, LeBron James, and Victor Wembanyama. Then you got the All NBA second team. My All NBA second team is Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, Domantas Sabonis, and Anthony Davis. Jalen Brunson, what he's doing with the New York Knicks, being able to take the New York Knicks when they lose one of their best players in Julius Randle, and you don't have Mitchell Robinson for a lot of the season. In fact, you don't have Hartenstein for a lot of the season. It's just most of the players on this team have been in and out of the lineup due to injury. And because of the play of Jalen Brunson, you're able to elevate this team, that is the New York Knicks, to the second seed in the East. I think that's been incredible. There's a lot. I'm sure. I don't know if you will, but I know that I think there's going to be at least one or two votes for MVP for him. I don't think he is the MVP, but again, what he's doing for this team and his importance to this team is is immeasurable. Jalen Brunson has been great. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, why the hell you got Steph on this team? And how is Steph on the second team and Tyrese Maxey and Halliburton, two players that are in the playoffs, how are they not in it? We have talked all year about Golden State. We have talked all year about the state of Golden State. And one thing that we have said consistently is Steph Curry, it's really the most consistent player on this team is Steph Curry. And Steph Curry more than likely is going to win the Clutch Player of the Year. This is the second year that award has been rewarded. I think last year was De'Aaron Fox. Steph Curry is still one of the best players. Steph Curry is still one of the top guards in the league. I'm not saying he's top 3 or 4 anymore, but he is still arguably top 10. Steph was the constant bright light for this team, and that is the Golden State Warriors. And again, if Draymond Green played majority of the year and not been suspended, they'd probably be a 4-5 seed. So I just think Steph Curry is still one of like when we talk about consistency, I think Steph Curry has had a more, especially when he's the main focus offensively for a team that struggled all year to find their offensive consistency outside of him. I think Steph Curry definitely deserves to be on the second team. Anthony Edwards, the Minnesota Timberwolves is the third team in the West. They're one of the best teams. And Anthony Edwards, he came out and said that he's going to be the best player in the league in a few years. I think there's a little bit too much dip on his ship, but not, in fact, there's some dip on his ship, but not too much. Anthony Edwards is like that, bro. And with Karl Anthony Towns being out majority of the second half of the year and not really having a consistent offensive weapon for the Minnesota Timberwolves outside of Anthony Edwards, it's incredible that they were able to hold on to a top seed in the West. And a lot of that is because of Anthony Edwards. He is one of the best players in basketball. And while I don't know if he's going to be the best player in a few years, he's definitely going to be up there. So that's why I have him. Sabonis, I think that he broke the record for a single season with the most consecutive double-doubles. And I know a lot of people don't talk about the Kings because it doesn't get much coverage. And obviously due to injuries and inconsistency this year, they weren't as good as they were last year. But Sabonis was still incredible. And Sabonis, when you talk about big men and you talk about, ranking the top big men, I know his name obviously doesn't get thrown in there that much, but he definitely needs to. Sabonis is great. So that's why he's on my second team. And Anthony Davis, again, you have to reward things that are unexpected, and you have to reward. The Lakers are in the playoffs, and Anthony Davis has been one of the best consistent centers this year, or big men this year. Especially when we talk about defense, when we talk about reliability for his team, when we talk about where his team ranks and finishes in the season. Anthony Davis has been great. And I don't know if there is – I think Anthony Davis is probably – Anthony and Wemby are probably the biggest, let's say, beneficiaries for Jokic for Joel Embiid not playing. Now, I do think that they still had great seasons, but one of these spots would have gone to Joel Embiid. One of these spots probably would have gone to Donovan Mitchell if he was able to, So, but I'm not taking away from Anthony Davis. I'm not taking away from Wemby. My All-NBA second team is Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, Sabonis, and Anthony Davis. I don't even need to stay on this long. We all should know who the All-NBA team is. It's the three players that are finalists for the MVP, and then it's the two players with arguably the best records. You have Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic. Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Jokic are all three MVP candidates. For some reason, Jason Tatum's not an MVP candidate, but he's the best player on the best team, and that is the Boston Celtics. They have the best record. And while the season didn't look exactly how we thought it would look when the Bucks got Damian Lillard, Giannis has still been incredible when he's on the floor. And those have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka, Jason Tatum, Jokic, and Giannis have been clear-cut the best five players in this league, hands down, this year. And it's only right and obvious that they are my All-NBA first team. So, and I think if those five do not make the team, I will say this. The reason why I said that Anthony Davis and Victor Wembanyama were probably the biggest beneficiaries for Joel Embiid, or biggest because Joel Embiid wasn't on this list, of course, they were awarded to a lot of other players. I still think the voters would have a tough time on their hands. I think Giannis probably would have been the person that goes to the second team, but every single player, Luka, Shea, Tatum, Jokic, and Giannis, all of them, even if Joel Embiid, even if Donovan Mitchell was able to play or able to be on these teams, they would still make it. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.